Hello everyone and welcome to my workshop. I'm Diane Desiel and today I'm going to show you how to do waistband, two kinds, the most frequent one. Now to do any waistband, the first thing you'll have to do is to measure your front waist and your back waist on your skirt or on your pant. The way we're going to do it is, of course, without the seam allowance. Here my block is without seam allowance, and I'm going to measure from center back or front until the notch. Then from that point you move to the second notch and you go all the way to the side seam. I suggest you write down your measurement on your pattern so it's always there. Now to make a really straight waistband, I'm going to start right at the edge of my paper, and I will start with a seam allowance for the assembling with the skirt. Now at one end, I'm going to start with the square line, so it's going to be the beginning or the end of my waistband. Then right away, I'm going to place twice the finish width I want for my waistband. For this one, I'm going to go with the maximum, so 5 centimeters twice. Then I'll be able to trace the top line and my seam allowance. The first waistband I'm going to show you will be for a center back opening. So I will start with my back measurement from the center back. So 17.5 for this example. So now I started at the center back. I reached to the side seam. Now I'm at the front side seam. I'm going to put the front waist measurement and I'll go all around. This one will be 18.5. So I have now my side seam and I have my center front. So now from my center front, again my front measurement to reach to the side seam, so 18.5. And this will be my second side seam. Then from the side seam, I'm going to place again my back measurement. Now as you could see, we have 4/4, just like the skirt. This would be my center back and this would be my center back. The next thing to do will be to report the reference point that we got, that they're going to be notches. We report them on the other side of the waistband so we could do the notch. At this point, it's up to you depending on what kind of closure you want to do. If you want to bring the zipper all the way up to the top of the waistband, you could just put 1 centimeter seam allowance. If you want to put a button and a buttonhole, I'll show you how to do an extension. Now to do it with the extensions, that's the one that I'm showing you, I'm going to place right away a 1 centimeter seam allowance, but just on one side. On the other side, we usually put an extension of 2 to 3 centimeters to be able to sew the button or to do the buttonhole. For this example, I'll make it 2.5. Then you just need to add your seam allowance. Before to cut it all around and do my notch, I'm going to ask you to do the grain line, so you could do it right on the middle line. For the waistband, the grain line is usually on the length, just like that. It's cut one time, and you should also cut it one time in fusing. Now your waistband is finished. You just have to do your center front notch, side seam notch on both sides, and don't forget to do the notch for the center back before the extension. I'm now going to show you the second most frequent waistband that you could have on your garment. It's for a side opening. So when you do that, you have to go all around again, but this time you're starting at the side seam. So you will put twice the front measurement and then twice the back measurement. I'm going to start exactly the same way. I'm going to add my seam allowance from the bottom. For this example, I'm going to do it 4 centimeter wide. So I'm going to place 8 and indicate the 4 centimeter. Then you could trace the top part and add your seam allowance. Here again, I'm starting with a 90-degree at one side of the waistband. Then for this style that is starting at the side seam, I'm going to start with my front pattern, side seam, put my 18.5 centimeter, and then again my front measurement with the same 18.5. Now if I name my point that I have right now, I'm going to have the side seam, I'm going to have the center front, and I'm going to have the other side seam. Now if we continue, we'll go with the back measurement, so side seam to center back, 17.5. Then I flip, and from my center back, again, my back waist measurement, 17.5. Here the point will be center back and side seam. Now just like we did last time, each quarter I'm going to report the reference to have it on the other side. Now for this waistband, I'm going to put the extension also, and I'm going to put it on the back side. So this is my center back side. On the front, only a 1 centimeter seam allowance. And at center back, my overlap, this time I could put 3 cm, and my seam allowance. We usually do it on the back side, so from the front you don't see the little opening created with the button and the buttonhole. Now again, I'm going to use the middle point here to trace my grain line in the middle of my waistband. And this is going to be cut 1 time and 1 time in fusing. Now you could do your notch for the center front, the side seam, but we do it a little different just to make sure you don't get mixed up with the center front and center back. So you're going to do for the center back double notch, so not in the middle line, but 5 millimeter on each side of your reference to get a double notch. No confusion, you'll know it's the back. And don't forget to put your side seam notch on both sides before the overlap. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I see you next time.